You are with the big story here. I'm Seher Zama. We're making a start with something else that is also hitting our wallet apart from the hike in mobile phones, mobile bills here. It is the prices of onions that continue to shoot up. The centre is ordered for import of onions from Turkey now. 11,000 metric tons of onions that are likely to reach India later this month. Meanwhile, the centre, it says it is closely monitoring the prices of onions. Senior ministers, which includes the Home Minister, the Finance Minister, the Consumer Affairs Minister, the Agriculture Minister and also the Road Transport Minister. They're all members of the panel that are tracking the prices. Meanwhile, the Delhi government has taken note of this rise and has slammed the central government over the rising onion prices. Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia says that they had demanded 10 trucks of onions daily from the centre, but at present the supply from the centre has completely stopped. Delhi government here raises objections over the price at which imported onions were being offered by the centre.
9 दिसंबर तक हमें 10 गाड़ी रोजाना चाहिए। 10 गाड़ी का मतलब हो गया लगभग 2.5 लाख किलो प्याज रोजाना। सरकार का, केंद्र सरकार का कहना था हमारे पास 56,000 मीट्रिक टन प्याज मौजूद है। उसके बावजूद कभी भी हमें पूरी 10 गाड़ियां नहीं दी गई। हम मांगते रह गए। मैक्सिमम किसी एक दिन 5 गाड़ी आई हैं, नहीं तो 2-3-4 गाड़ियां प्याज देते हैं। सरप्राइजिंगली केंद्र ने प्याज देना बंद कर दिया है। तो आज मैं आपके माध्यम से केंद्र सरकार से यही पूछना चाहता हूं कि केंद्र ने दिल्ली को प्याज देना क्यों बंद कर दिया?
अचानक 24 नवंबर को है उन्होंने हमारा सारा रिक्विजिशन बंद कर दिया, दिल्ली को प्याज देना अचानक बंद कर दिया। तो मेरी तो उनसे गुजारिश है कि आप लोग हमें प्याज दीजिए, सड़ाने से अच्छा है आप हमें दें, हम दिल्ली में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करेंगे। देखिए ऐसा है, वो चाहते नहीं कि मुझे लगता है कि दिल्ली के लोगों को राहत मिले, तो हम तो उनसे रिक्वेस्ट ही कर सकते हैं ना। रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं रामविलास पासवान जी से।
Let's get you a pan-India view from our team of correspondents. Have with us our correspondent from Delhi, Ayushman, Srija from Bengaluru and Apeksha from Mumbai. First to you, Ayushman, this is once again with respect to the Delhi government turning into a political blame game here. But there's a finer point that has been raised by the Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia there. This is regarding the prices of onions that have been imported. What price should they be sold at?
Well, Sir, currently we are in Okla Mandi, and if you talk about this current scenario right now, we were told by the wholesalers that even today the situation of onion sale did not, the numbers did not go down. In fact, the numbers were somewhere between 50 to 60 rupees per kg in the wholesale. So these are all the new onions, which are the smaller bulbs. And if you talk about the larger bulb that is not available right now, which is the old stock that is not there. And the Delhi government has clearly has a completely different view of what the centre has said. They had earlier said that 56,000 metric ton of onion would be available, would be made available to Delhi, but that hasn't happened. In fact, people are saying that there was, in fact, Deputy CM has on record said that Delhi has not been receiving the kind of support that it needed. And given the situation right now, Seher, what we are being told that unless and until the import which has to come from Egypt, if that happens and then the onion, imported onion come, till that time we cannot expect a respite in the cooling of the prices, because currently the onion sale in the national capital, the smaller one is in the category of 80 to 90 rupees, and the larger one, the larger bulbs are being sold at 110 to 120 rupees per kg in retail, sir.
Okay. Well, stay on with us, Ayushman. For the benefit of our viewers, of course, we're also playing out that tariff card of onion prices in each given city. Many of you, of course, already well versed. Onions is something which is part of most kitchen's staple. In Bengaluru, onions that are being sold currently at 60 rupees per kg. This is in the wholesale market, due to which onions that are sold at 120 per kg to customers. Our correspondent Srija is to get us those details here. Srija, are there questions being raised now with these rising prices? There was a sense that the central government, which had earlier promised on stocks that they would be importing, should have already arrived by the end of November. But now we're being told we're still to wait. This could only come in by mid-December, so another 2 weeks to go then.
Seher, in fact, speaking to the vendors, what we understand is that the customers, there will be no respite for the next 2 weeks. To bring you the prices of the onion here in the retail market, especially here in Bengaluru, what I would like to show you is now this particular crate of onion has been priced anywhere between 120 and 130 rupees. Now, remember, these are the larger bulbs, and what we understand, especially from the vendors, is that, remember, they purchase it from the APMC market, which is the wholesale market here in Bengaluru. Now, coming to this particular, what you're looking at, the onions. Now, these are almost low quality and almost spoiled, rotten onions, which are still being sold for 40 rupees. What we see here is that there are takers for such onions as well, because remember, there clearly isn't a choice for especially the consumers. Now, to bring you another crate over here, what we see here is that this has been priced at anywhere between 90 rupees and 100 rupees. So there's clearly not much difference what we're looking at. Now, these are also the larger ones. So we see it depends upon the quality. The top quality will be priced anywhere between 120 to 130 rupees, and the low quality ones will be priced anywhere between 40 and 50 rupees. Now, another interesting thing to be noted over here, Seher, remember, like I pointed out, today about 30,000 bags arrived at the APMC market in Yeshwantpur. Now, these bags are weighing, what we understand, has about at least 55 to 60 kg of onion, and they have been priced at 5,000 rupees. Now, which means from the retail, that is from the wholesale market, these vendors go and purchase. There are several retail markets which is spread across the city. So if I go to KR market from here, which is about 4 kilometers, now they are selling the onion for about 110, 115, 120 rupees. But if I'm right here, you have people selling for nearly 140 rupees. So that is the problem, what we understand as far as the consumers are concerned. What they tell us is that they are being, in fact, they've been taken advantage of at the crisis situation. Back to you.
Right. Let's also get a hang on the situation here in Mumbai. These are old onion stocks which are now nearly over. More inputs coming in from our correspondent Apeksha there with further details. Apeksha, the disparity that we see, that even poor quality onions now are also being sold at a very high price, which would usually be selling at a much cheaper rate.
That's right, Seher. In fact, as far as Mumbai is concerned, the rate today is anywhere between 70 rupees to 90 rupees depending on the quality, and this is for the new onions. Now, new onions are essentially the fresh produce. So the old onions which have been in the market right since the months of April, May, June, which has been slightly a stretch. Usually it's not that we see that the old stock is used for this long, because we're already in November. So, but even this stock is, almost getting over, and this stock is priced at 100 rupees, and these are the rates at the wholesale market at APMC, which is the largest market as far as that produces onions as far as Mumbai is concerned. Now, this impact we're looking at not only households, but even now restaurants and hotels are finding it extremely difficult to do business, because by the time, if we talk about households, now if the rates are between 70 to 90 in the wholesale markets, to add another 20 rupees by the time it would reach, the retail markets. So that is anywhere trading about 110 to 120 in the city of Mumbai. Although the restaurants don't buy it from the retails, they always buy it from the wholesale, but even that is at 100 rupees a kilo. So now they are passing on this cost to the consumers. So now what restaurants in Mumbai have started doing is either they've completely stopped providing, dishes that have onion, especially dishes like, say, misal pav or onion bhajias, where onion is the primary content. So either they've completely stopped making these dishes, or on the second hand, what they're doing is that they've reduced the consumption. So instead of, say, using onion, they've now started using cabbage, and they've even started, innovating with dishes and trying to get in more so that people do not feel, the absence of onion. In fact, sir, at this point, like to bring in owner of the Preetham restaurant to understand better how they have been dealing with this situation. Sir, बहुत शुक्रिया हमसे बात करने के लिए. क्या आज आपने अनियंस की खरीदी की है?
हाँ, किया.
तो किस रेट पे आपको मिला?
नेट पे 80 रुपये.
80 रुपये किलो. तो सर अब जब इतना बढ़ गया है भाव, क्योंकि हम देखते थे कहाँ 20 रुपये किलो होता था और अब सडनली 80 रुपये हो गया है, तो होटल्स के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से आप बताइए, आप किस तरीके से मैनेज कर रहे हैं?
कांदा का यूज़ तो उतना ही हो रहा है, तो रेट का हिसाब से तो मंगाना थोड़ा कम कर दिया हम लोग। पहले 5-6 गोनी आता था, अभी 1 गोनी आएगा। थोड़ा यूज़ कम किया, मतलब कस्टमर को कितना मांगते हैं उतना दे रहे हैं, यूज़ हम लोग मंगाना कम कर दिया।
ओके, तो कुछ ऐसे डिशेस होते हैं जहाँ पे बिना कांदे के वो जो स्वाद बोलते हैं वो नहीं आता है, काफ़ी रेस्टोरेंट्स ने वो देना बंद कर दिया है, क्या आपने भी ऐसा कुछ किया है?
हमने नहीं किया।
और क्या वजह है ना करने की?
बंद नहीं किया, मतलब हम लोग को कस्टमर को देने का कितना चीज़ में जाना चाहिए कांदा उतना तो जाएंगे, बंद तो नहीं कर सकते हम लोग। तो बंद करेगा तो स्वाद नहीं मिलेगा कस्टमर को।
एक्चुअली क्या है, हमारा रेस्टोरेंट का नाम है, मार्केट में नाम है, और कांदे की उसके लिए हमारा नाम नहीं खराब करने वाले। थोड़ा बहुत प्राइस में है तो हम 19-20 करके मैनेज कर लेते हैं, क्योंकि थोड़ा बहुत पैसे के लिए हमारा रेस्टोरेंट का नाम तो नहीं खराब कर देंगे
जी। और सर बिजनेस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से कुछ फ़र्क पड़ा है कि आपका बिजनेस नीचे हुआ है?
ऐसा नहीं लग रहा है मेरे को, चल रहा है।
So, sir, that's what they're saying, that although the onions have become unaffordable, but the quality is something that they do not want to compromise in, because they are a huge chain of restaurants.
And
so
there's some adjustments there
the cost on
that they
themselves,
would
but
be
they
making to
will,
the
at this
ingredients
point
as
not
well.
pass it on.
That's a very interesting aspect there, Apeksha, that you've brought out on how restaurants are now adjusting, because it's tight on their pocket in their own restaurant kitchens here as well. Coming back to you, Ayushman, on all the assurances here now come from the central government, and this is across ministries. You have the finance minister speaking on this, you have the home minister, the agriculture minister, the road transport minister, all ministries involved here in this. Exactly what is being monitored? Because if there was a promise by the central government, this is something that we discussed last month as well, when prices were beginning to shoot up, and the government saying that import stocks would be arriving by the end of November. There is a delay to that now. So what is being monitored here by the centre, which is not showing on ground?
Well, you can understand the severity of the situations here by the fact that even when 6,090 metric ton of onion is going to arrive in Mumbai by 10th or 12th of December, even before that, the centre has placed another order of 11,000 metric ton from Turkey. So they are definitely assessing the problem. The situation is grave right now because the domestic production, which was very much essential for cooling of the prices, that hasn't happened, because this time the harvest was low because of the rains that took place in Maharashtra and Karnataka. At the same time, sir, if you talk about the central government's initiative, they have been telling that there is a ministerial team which is looking after it. Home Minister Amit Shah is looking after it. There is a cabinet secretary who is looking after it. At the same time, the assurances had been given from the consumer minister Ramvilas Paswan. He had said that they had enough of buffer stock. But when you talk right now, the union territory like Delhi is facing shortage. In fact, the deputy CM has to come out and they are saying that we haven't been able to provide, and the truckload which was required to be given to Delhi, that hasn't happened. So that clearly states how grievous this situation is on ground in Delhi, because people are really facing this situation. In fact, when you go on to the retail shops, there are people saying earlier they used to buy 1 kg and now they are somewhere cutting down to 250 grams or half a kg. So that is the impact that is happening on ground. Definitely it would be a bigger question as to when the situation will come in control. But for now, definitely in the next 1 or 2 weeks, it is not likely to, the prices are not likely to come down, because the import which has, the import of onion which has to be there, it will be coming to the market only after 15th of December.
That's right. A relief only in a fortnight's time there. Well explained there, Ayushman. But Srija, as far as the state government there in Bengaluru, Karnataka state government there is concerned, any assurances that have come in from them? Or is the Karnataka state also sitting and waiting for those imports?
Well, on one hand, you have citizens, in fact, suffering from the rising, especially the prices of the onion. But on the other hand, you really have the government sitting mum on it, because what we understand is that all that they tell us at this point in time, let the central government react. Now, of course, we understand the right now Yediyurappa-led BJP government is right now here in power as far as Karnataka is concerned. But we still do not see a very input, in fact, on which is coming on ground, which is clearly helping the consumers in instead all that they say is, let's pass on that particular responsibility on the government. Let's wait for the central government to react on that. So that is something which we understand is enraging the citizens as far as Bengaluru is concerned. Because remember, another most important aspect to be noted over here is over the last 1.5 months, we have noticed how especially severe floods have ravaged North Karnataka district. And on one hand, you also have especially people in North Karnataka reeling still under the flood situation, the crisis. But on the other hand, at the same time, here you have people who say that they clearly do not want to purchase onions unless, of course, the state government reacts.
That's right. It's cutting down on your own diet here. It's cutting down on your own kitchen is how people are currently managing to cope with this. Appreciate all those inputs that have come in from all our correspondents here on this. Let's get you another update. These are shocking details coming in regarding the Hyderabad rape and murder case. Just 66 hours before the 27-year-old doctor, the victim, who was raped and murdered, 2 of the 4 men accused were actually intercepted by the police. And this was for driving without license. It was found that the prime accused was driving trucks for the past 2 years without license. But the accused managed to hoodwink the police here, managed to hoodwink the joint team of Regional Transport Authority as well as the Vigilance and Enforcement Department. The accused removed the self-start cable since their truck wasn't starting. The team moved on to another location. When they returned, the truck was already gone. Our correspondent Paul getting us further inputs here on this. Paul, this is yet another indicator here on a heinous crime which could have been avoided had the police been more serious about another crime by the same accused.
Sir, this speaks volumes about the kind of execution on the ground level. On one hand, we have the new Motor Vehicles Act, which has very high prices for offences of in regards to traffic. And on the other hand, we are seeing at the ground level, for the last 2 years, Mohammed, who's the first accused in the case, also known as Arif, he has been driving his lorry without a valid driving license for the last 2 years. So it shows the kind of execution on the ground because he has hoodwinked police not once but several times without actually having official documents. This particular lorry was traveling from Mehboob Nagar to Hyderabad, and it was at Cyberabad's Tondapalli that he had parked his vehicle there. It was passing through a toll gate. So in case we have a database of all the lorries that is coming in and going out, apart from the CCTV cameras at the toll plazas, along with details like their official documents, whether they have valid documents. In that case, we would actually have a tab of who are the drivers entering and leaving a state, because usually lorry drivers here are nomadic people. They move from one state to the other because of the work demands so. So it's very difficult to keep track of who's in and who's going out. So this would probably be a great way of executing on the ground and collecting their details. So in this particular case, speaks volumes of the kind of execution on the field. It's on one hand, it's good to have laws and rules, but on the other hand, execution remains prime importance.
That's right, and that's what police vigil is all about. But the Telangana police here, Paul, in another shocking note, has chosen to release an advisory, and this is a 14-point advisory, which is just for women, which is some of the basics that women usually follow. And which doesn't really require police intervention. The question here should be about police intervention, but this is what the advisory is all about. Sharing locations while traveling, updating their locations frequently with family, sharing details of taxi and autos, and never hesitating in seeking help from police patrol cars. There are more pointers here to this advisory, but the nature of this advisory now is inviting criticism because, Paul, this is a case about women's safety becoming entirely the women's responsibility. Don't even hold the police responsible here. Would it mean that if you haven't updated your live location to your family, you're not entitled to being safe then?
Well, next time if something goes wrong, the police have another reason to blame the victim, saying that you did not update your parents or you did not call 100, and that is why what has happened to you has happened. It started off with that insensitive statement by the Home Minister of Telangana, wherein he said the victim, despite being an educated girl, happened to call her sister instead of dialing 100. That's how it started off. Now we are seeing an advisory that has been put out. It says it's an advisory for all women and girls, wherein there are 14 rules that have been pointed out, which is it is meant in a good manner, of course, but several activists are raising questions about it, sir, saying why is it that you're putting out an advisory for women and girls alone? Why can't you put out advisories to people in generic about behaving in a certain kind of manner, that what is the kind of punishment that will happen if you end up molesting, harassing, or whatever it be? So consequence, it should have been an advisory which is more generic, is what a lot of them are opining about. Also, another interesting fact a lady raised when I was covering the
Right.
protest was, why is it that the police is not putting out an advisory for the police staff? Because in this particular case, we saw that there was a jurisdiction war that happened between police stations, insensitive comments passed to the mother when she approached the police. So put out an advisory saying that you can't do this, sensitizing them about how to deal with such kind of cases. That is the need of the hour, and not an advisory to the women, is what a lot of people are of the
That's
opinion,
right.
sir.
Absolutely. Internal assessment for the police to do here on their own team. But Paul, stay on with us. This is an issue, not surprisingly, having rocked both houses of parliament today. In one voice, you have all the MPs having called for toughest possible action against the culprits. In fact, Samajwadi Party MP has raised eyebrows for the kind of intervention that she has asked for, calling for public lynchings of those who are convicted of the crime. Vice President, Chairperson of the Rajya Sabha, Venkaiah Naidu, said such people do not deserve any mercy.
Can anybody think of having mercy to such people? And why? Because of some practice is there for years together, that process, and then state government to appeal, central government to appeal, then home ministry, then president, all these things. We should really think about it as a change in our legal system, in our judicial system.
पूरे समाज को खड़ा होना होगा और हर लेवल पे खड़ा होना होगा और हर जगह प्रचार होना चाहिए, न सिर्फ पार्लियामेंट के अंदर, विधानसभाओं के अंदर, बल्कि एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस के अंदर, प्राइवेट इंस्टीट्यूशंस के अंदर एक वातावरण बनाने की जरूरत है।
कानून व्यवस्था अपनी जगह, आप उस पर सवाल उठा सकते हैं, लेकिन ये हमारी मानसिकता का भी सवाल है सर। हम एक बीमार समाज में तब्दील होते जा रहे हैं। ये बीमारी उत्तर, दक्षिण, पूरब, पश्चिम अलग अलग जगह है। इस बीमारी को हमें सिर्फ ये कि सजा बहुत हो जाएगी सर, डिटरेंस से नहीं हो रहा है।
अगर ऐसा इस तरह की चीजें कुछ कंट्रीज में होती हैं, वहां पब्लिक इसको जस्टिस देती है। मेरा सजेशन है, आई नो इट्स अ लिटिल हार्श, बट I think these kind of people need to be brought out in public and lynched properly.
Right, ma. Lynched.
Well, there's several going to question Jaya Bachchan on that suggestion here, but on ground there are a set of protests that we have seen across big cities. Earlier we saw it in Delhi at Jantar Mantar today. Later in the afternoon, protests in Telangana. Lawyers have protested at the Telangana High Court here, asking for speedy justice, immediate justice here. Our correspondent Paul getting us those details here. Paul, this is of course understandable outrage that we are looking at from various sections of society. Any specific demands that the lawyers have made today here in this protest though?
Well, I've covered 3 protests since morning, sir, and all of them are of the opinion that justice should not be delayed as much as it is happening in the present judicial system. Even in Nirbhaya's case, we are seeing even after several years, justice has not been served. So they don't want the Hyderabad veterinary doctor's case to be on the same lines. They're asking for instant justice. In the parliament, they're talking about lynching. I happen to ask a lot of them, do you agree with this kind of a punishment for rapists? They said hanging, lynching, whatever it may be, quickly, but the whole entire process needs to be expedited. You can't wait for several years and the family languishing for a closure. So in this particular case as well, the lawyers at the High Court are happy about the fact that the case will be heard in a special court, which will be fast tracked. And there was a case in Warangal, sir. In 52 days, it was a record case. The verdict in a rape case was delivered. So they're saying something like that needs to be done more often and in a larger scale, not just for selective cases. What do you mean by rarest of a rare rape? Every rape should be considered as rarest of rare and justice should be delivered. That is what one of the points that was raised by one of the protesters. So several such points coming up in protest saying every rape should be considered as something that is that should be punished and every person should be hanged or brought out to justice.
Absolutely. Yes, these are angry voices coming in from civil society, as do in each given such case here. The tragedy here being that these are cases that are increasing in frequency, that continue to happen in our society. We're asking for an absolute stop and something that works as a deterrent on ground. Thanks for being with us.